Hello, let's solve a problem, a JEE problem, which is given that 1 by 1 factorial into 50 factorial plus 1 by 3 factorial into 48 factorial plus 1 by 5 factorial into 46 factorial plus and so on plus 1 by 49 factorial into 2 factorial plus 1 by 51 factorial into 1 factorial. Right? So let's start solving the question. As you can see, the terms are in the form of 1 by 1 factorial into 1 by a factorial into b factorial, right? You can, the formula for NCR equal to n factorial by r factorial into n minus r factorial, right? As you can see, the denominators of these summations are, they are two factors, right? R factor and n minus r factor. You can think for the first term r equal to 1, to get 50 factorial, then n minus 1 equal to 50, which is n minus r must be 51, right? Down, that is 1 by 1 factorial into 50 factorial can be written as r is 1 factorial into 51 minus 1 factorial, right? Now we can divide or multiply with 51 factorial into 51 factorial. This is the first term, right? You can similarly, you can do it for the other terms, right? Right? Now here this second term is 1 by 3 factorial into 48 factorial, which is 3 factorial into 51 minus 3 factorial, right? You can write it as multiply and divide with 1 by 51 factorial. Right? Now this summation, let us assume this as S. Now S becomes, if you add all these terms, right, 1 by 51 factorial into 51 factorial by, right, 1 factorial into 51 minus 1 factorial plus 51 factorial by 3 factorial into 51 minus 3 factorial plus and so on, right? The last term you can write it as 51 factorial by, this will be 51 factorial into 51 factorial into 0 factorial. Fine, this is how it will be. Now this S becomes 1 by 51 factorial into, this can be written as 51 C1 plus 51 C3 plus and so on 51 C0. Sorry, 51, right? Right, NC1, it's as you can see, it is in the form of NC1 plus NC3 plus NC5 plus and so on NCN, right? Now let's figure out the value for this. As you know, the definition for x plus y whole power n is NC0 x power n minus 0 into y power 0 plus NC1 x power n minus 1 into y power 1 plus and so on. Fine. Now if x equal to 1 and y equal to 1, then this becomes 1 plus 1 2 power n, and this becomes nc0, and as you can see 1 power something, it will be 1, y power anything, it will be 1, right? Now then this becomes nc0 nc1 plus nc2 plus and so on. Now The second case, x equal to 1 and y equal to minus 1. This becomes 1 minus 1, which is 0, power n, which is 0. Now, as you can see here, nc0, right? How this will change is nc0. Now, nc1 is y will minus 1 right here, then minus nc1 plus nc2 minus nc3 plus and so on. Fine. Let us assume this as equation 1 and this is equation 2, because we need to get the odd terms, I mean c1 c3 forms, c1 and c3, you need to subtract 1 minus 2 from 1, that is 1 minus 2, then 2 power n is, this will get cancelled and you will get 2 times of nc1 plus nc3 plus nc5 plus and so. Fine. Then this becomes 2 power n by 2, which is 2 power n minus 1 is nc1 plus nc3 plus nc5 plus and so on. Fine. Now similarly in our case the n is 51, right? Here in our case n is 51, which is 2 power, our s case is, where is s? Here it is 1 by 51 factorial, and the summation is 2 power n minus 1. N is 51, right? 51 minus 1, which is 2 power 51 minus 1 is 50 by 5 factorial. So this is the solution.